Okay, so I just got done with a whole month on YouTube Music. Yeah, and since that last video with Apple Music, I've come to realize that YouTube Music might just be the best deal in music streaming. Like, you literally get two for the price of one. YouTube Music with no ads on YouTube. Like, that's a no-brainer, right? So I decided to cancel my Spotify yet again and see for myself how good of a deal it actually is. Okay, so before you even open the app or play anything, it already knows a bit about yourself and your music from your history on YouTube. So if you log in with the same account, you'll get a personalized experience right from the beginning. So it's not like you're starting out from scratch with the algorithm. And that's really nice, because I found that switching out your main music app is harder than you'd think. Like, you've got years and years worth of history. And while it is possible to move over with your playlists and your library, you cannot just move over the algorithm that's trained on you for years. So yeah, that definitely makes for a good start. But after using it for a while and listening to a few tracks, the first thing I found is that the queue is really good. Like, I never doubted YouTube for the algorithm, but the recommendations here are spot on. Like, you can literally pick one song and let the algorithm take over. In fact, it was so good that I could trust it to keep playing my music, like I do with Spotify. And that was never the case even with Apple Music. And I often found myself listening for extended hours with just a few skips here and there. And that's great if you're one of those people that don't bother with a library or build playlists. You can just select a song and let the algorithm take you places. But even if you do choose to go hands-on with your queue, it's a quick swipe up from the main player and it's a breeze to edit. Yeah, no complaints here. But wait, it gets even better. Sometimes when you're playing radio or listening for a while, you get these buttons in line to customize your queue. So you can choose if you like a more familiar mix, or you want to discover new music, or go for popular and deeper cuts. I've never seen this level of control over the algorithm before, and I found it to be really useful. This means that you rarely even have to go look for music in the app. So yeah, I don't know if you could tell, but this is hands down my favorite radio in any music app. Okay, so it's easy enough to get the music playing, alright, but what about the sound quality? I feel like ever since Apple did the whole lossless and Dolby Atmos rollout, everyone's been trying to catch up to them. And if you watch my video with Apple Music, you already know how I feel about that. But since that video, you guys also let me know lossless does not work over Bluetooth. So yeah, knowing what I know now, and for wireless listening, the quality here is good enough. Okay, so the bitrate on YouTube Music tops out at 256 kilobits, which might seem a bit low compared to up to 320 kilobits on Spotify. I found that it's just good enough to be not noticeable. Anything lower than 256 though is definitely noticeable, even on Bluetooth. So besides the option to select a specific bitrate in settings, I don't really have any complaints here with sound quality, although I do wish there was some kind of Dolby Atmos or 3D audio integration, now that it's starting to show up in other apps besides Apple Music. Okay, that was sort of the two main things, but there's a whole lot more to unpack. And starting with the catalog here is huge. And I don't mean like the 100 million songs that almost every platform claims. Like, you can find all major releases on every platform. I'm talking about tracks that you cannot find anywhere else. So you not only have lo-fi flips and radio edits, but also mashups, unofficial remixes, live and unreleased versions. Like, I could find songs here that I had given up searching for on other music apps. And it kind of makes sense because it's YouTube and it's usually the first place you upload. So anyone and everyone can upload tracks here on YouTube Music, which is good, but the flip side to that is it feels a lot less curated and official. Like, these titles alone can be a lot sometimes. It kind of feels like SoundCloud in a way, but with all the official releases. But yeah, all things considered, The music catalog is definitely better than Spotify or Apple Music. But what could be better is search. I don't know why, but I expected it to be a lot better because it's YouTube. But then it's just average. Now you do get results as you type, and you can filter through them with these buttons. But you cannot search by lyrics like you can with Spotify and Apple Music. And I don't really like how search results are laid out in this non-linear way. Overall, you'll eventually find what you're looking for, but it's kind of basic and definitely a step down compared to others. What's not basic is the main player. Now it's definitely not the most beautiful, but it's fully featured. You have all your standard controls with inline like and dislike buttons. The queue is right there with lyrics and a related tab that's like a collection of all the songs, playlists, and even other artists related to the song you're listening to. It's a pretty good layout overall with everything easily accessible, but it could do with a visual update. But circling back to lyrics for a moment, the lyrics here are a joke. Like really, it's just a block of text, and even that's not available most of the time. Forget about Apple Music, even Spotify does better than this. Yeah, they could have done better. But what YouTube does better than everyone else is music videos. While Spotify and Apple Music have music videos tucked away in different sections, it's integrated directly into the player in YouTube Music. Yeah, you can just switch to video at any time from the top of the player UI. It is almost seamless and honestly a major win if you're into music videos. But I don't know, I almost never watch the video of the songs I listen to. I feel like it just ruins the image of what I built up in my head. Let me know if you feel that way in the comments. Okay, next up, playlists. Alright, so there are two kinds of playlists on YouTube Music. First are the community playlists, which are made by users, and then the official YouTube playlists. And I found them both to be pretty good. There are a bunch of playlists for every mood and genre, and there's enough variety here to find exactly what you need. It's also big on community playlists, so you'll find them along with the official ones. Yep, they're even featured on the main home page, unlike other platforms. So yeah, I was impressed by both the quantity and the quality of the playlist here on YouTube Music. What I was also impressed by is the app. Okay, so it's a pretty well-built app that feels stable and solid. The homepage looks a bit different, but it's quite similar to Spotify in its layout. You've got different sections that you can scroll through horizontally. It all feels familiar, but looks a bit cluttered. I don't know if it's the different sizing of the elements or the font used, or if it's just that the contrast is way too much. But yeah, it works perfectly and it's pretty good at surfacing stuff you want to listen to. And what's also cool are these buttons on top that like filter your feed based on what you're doing. So you can like tap on relax and have your chill beats on top, or workout if you're trying to be active. There's energize for when you need that energy boost, and commute and focus for when you're trying to do those things. The explore page is a bit lacking with only new and trending music along with links to different genres. It's kind of like what the trending page on YouTube used to be. And the last page is your library with all your recent activity and your music. One thing I was concerned about though was if it will actually spam my YouTube history, which thankfully it doesn't. But some things still sync up, like your liked playlist and search history. There's also not a lot of settings in the app, but I found something about animated thumbnails, which I've never seen in the app. So I'm guessing they're going to add features similar to Apple Music. There's also an offline mixtape feature, which will keep a playlist of all the tracks you listen to available offline, so you can access these without the internet. Alright, so to sum it all up, the queue is really great, the sound quality is good enough, the catalog is huge, but search could be better, and while the app is solid with a nice player UI and integrated music videos. Lyric support is disappointing. But to answer that question, if it's really a good deal, you have to go all the way back and look at it from another perspective. All this while when I was testing out YouTube Music, I was also getting the whole YouTube Premium experience, which basically means no ads on YouTube. And I never really looked at it that much before, but it's so freaking good. You don't really notice how much of a difference these ads can have on your experience until they're gone. And if you spend any more than a couple of minutes on YouTube every day, you know how it can be a bit too much sometimes with the ads. Yeah, it was refreshing, to be honest. I honestly think that YouTube Premium is the real deal, with YouTube Music as an add-on. But if I had to rank these purely on the music experience, now that I've used all three, I'll put Spotify at the top. Second place would be Apple Music, and then YouTube Music at third place. Yep, that's how I'd rate them unless a big new media company decides to enter the music space. But let me know which one do you prefer and why in the comments. Find out what happened when I switched to Apple Music in this video, and subscribe if you want to see more like this, and I'll see you then.